only chemical. There are 43 studies on garlic. All said garlic is good for cooking, but not for medicine. Because they didn't use garlic, they used garlic pearl. Garlic pearl is a reductionist garlic where the SH group is removed to remove the smell. When you take garlic as garlic, raw garlic, put it in the mouth and munch it nicely, the alanine in the garlic becomes allicin because it joins with the trypsin in the saliva and it becomes a very powerful medicine. And garlic is such a powerful medicine, I tell you. This is the only question I have about our ancient wisdom. Why wise people have avoided garlic in the diet. Maybe it's an aphrodisiac, but aphrodisiacs are not bad. So garlic is a wonderful blessing on mankind by heaven. But we avoided it. For example, ginger is a very powerful viral, antiviral drug. And who had to do the research? Professor Zyment in Harvard. Because our researchers here, you tell them garlic, hey, garlic, ginger, useless, useless, all. So friends, this study done by Douglas Wallace, D.C. Wallace, opened the eyes of the whole world. The study is published as Mitochondria as Chi. Have you written, madam, with the shawl? Good. And the author's name is Douglas Wallace, W-A-L-L-A-C-E. And the journal is Genetics, very famous journal. Year is 2008. Volume is 179. And page is 727. Go to the internet, it's free. Read it. So friends, I have given you two studies from the West, quote unquote scientific, which shows you that their own medicines are not good. Did you understand that? Now we don't have to go there. Now why have we invoked quantum physics to medicine to understand it? Quantum physics is the latest science, which is a holistic science. Rest of Western physics, what's called conventional physics, solid state physics, particle physics, it's reductionist science. All the chemistry of the West, there's chemistry which is organic, inorganic, is all dead. We have a new chemistry of nanoparticles. And such a beautiful thing, we require quantum physics because quantum physics understands the energy part of it. And all healing happens through energy. And the mind, unfortunately, Paul is here, the mind is not in the brain. We thought the mind was in the brain, and we're working on that even now. If you have a depression, you go to the doctor, your psychiatrist, what will he give you? A chemical. Why? He thinks the chemical will cure your depression. The depression is the mind. Chemical will affect the brain. So what will the chemical do? It will go and damage your brain and make you a zombie, and eventually you are called Alzheimer's disease, a new disease we have discovered. So a professor of psychiatry in New York, she found out all this and wrote a book, Dementia, a drug-induced crime on mankind by doctors. What's the book's name? Dementia, a drug-induced crime on mankind. Her name is Grace Elizabeth Jackson. What's the name? Jackson, Elizabeth Jackson, Grace. Her first name is Grace. Grace was a professor of psychiatry in New York, and when the book came out, she lost her job. Because it's against the industry. So she lost her job. Doesn't matter. This book has got her millions of dollars and invitation for lectures all over the world. And Grace is so happy now writing more books. See how the world runs? So you can't swim against the current. You can't talk against the current. So the future medical care system in India should be an integrated system of medicine drawn from every system. Homeopathy. I tell you there are certain wonderful things in Siddha. There's a thing called wormology. This is like a simple spot analysis, and you tickle that, your blood sugar comes down. There's another spot, you tickle that, your blood pressure comes down. So Siddha has a lot of good things. Unani has very good things. There is hardly any system where there is nothing good. But we have a big job to do, and that is authenticate these using the scientific hard trials. This is what we are doing for the last 10 years. I was motivated by a great scientist. In my opinion, there's no greater scientist than him, late Professor Rustum Roy of Penn State University fame. He got the Genius of the Century Award. This man is phenomenal. He has done a lot of things, and we have been able to authenticate a lot of things using that. And we run an institution called the World Academy of Authentic Healing Sciences, and we have a journal of which I am the founder, co-editor-in-chief, and Rusum Roy, till he died, was my co-editor-in-chief. And after that, I had the director of the Max Planck Institute of Physics in Munich, Hans-Peter Dürr, as my co-editor-in-chief. Now he also died, he was 89. And now I have got the professor of genetics in the Penn State University, and she is the editor-in-chief now. And we do this work for mankind's good. We don't take any money. Karthikeyan is one of the directors in us, and the government is still troubling me because they are fining me for not getting the FCRA. So, this is the problem with the, if you do some good work, people are after you because the industry is after you. So, friends, we have already discovered the method. I have extensively written about it, and I have written that the future is integrated system, and I have written what is called modern Indian medical future system. Now, why do we call modern medicine from West? Today we want everything from the West to say, oh, it's scientific. The modernity is not from the West. Modernity is something that any culture can have modernity. Western things have also moved from being sorcery, witchcraft, and what have you, 5,000 years ago in the Nile Valley, which went to Egypt, went to Greece, went to Arabia, and then came to Greece, and then Europe, and then became modern medicine. Why not we do that for us? There's a beautiful saying in Latin. If you want to move forwards, prospice, respice. If you want to move forwards, look back. And when we look back, we have a hoary past. We now talk of quantum physics. The quantum physics originated in Sanatana Dharma. I'll give you an authentic article written by a Nobel laureate and an alternate Nobel laureate, who was my co-editor-in-chief, Hans-Peter Dürr. The article's name is Matter is Not Made Out of Matter. What's the article's name? Matter is Not Made Out of Matter. You simply have to go to Google and say, matter is not made out of matter. Hans-Peter Dürr, H-A-N-S-P-E-T-E-R-D-U-R-R or D-U-E-R-R. Both German spellings are correct. And when once you get it, you read it. There he says so beautifully, he is the man who found out energy is matter, matter is energy, which he calls as a-duality, no duality. Then he writes there, I look like a small kid playing in the front of the Indian sages of yore who had recognized this quantum physics, quantum reality, thousands of years ago. They called it as Advaita, Tat Sat. And so beautifully, he can quote this from the Upanishad. So beautifully. He says, he quotes that. It's in the Gita also. From the Upanishad, it came to the Gita. After all, Gita is a beaded necklace from the Upanishads. And one of the necklaces is, one of the beads is, Bahir Antascha Bhutanam. Energy is inside and outside of everything. Bahir Antascha Bhutanam. Charam Acharamevacha. Guruji looks solid, but there is nothing solid about it. Every leptocon in a leptocock in it is jumping about. And his leptococs are jumping and getting to Karthikeyan's. Karthikeyan's leptococs are jumping to him. And in between, this beautiful girl has got leptococs coming from both of them. Charam Acharamevacha. Sukshmavate Tavijnayam. Nobody can see an electron, said Sanatana Dharma. And none of the physicists who got Nobel Prize for describing an electron have seen an electron. Why can't you see an electron? You studied, what did you study? Vastu Shastra. Anybody who has studied physics? Why can't you see an electron? No. An electron has to be subatomic. But why can't you see it is a question. Now don't confuse us. In the physics class, the professors confuse us. I don't know whether it's in a waveform because Father Johnson got the Nobel Prize in 1907 for saying they are particles. His son Thomson, 37, got it for saying they are waves. And Schrodinger got it by saying they are wavicles. So we don't know whether waves are, we have not seen them. How can you describe them? Good. That's something, you are somewhere there, but come on. Oh, no. Very simple. How do I see you? Oh, no, uncertainty principle is something different. We'll come to that. No. You are also energy. Why am I seeing you? If I have to see you or see any object, a few photons will have to leave you and hit my retina. If one photon leaves an electron, the electron changes. So nobody can see an electron because when you try to see the electron has changed. Sanatana Dharma again says, Asino vrajati duram, shayano jati sarvata, which is called quantum entanglement. Quantum entanglement. Quantum tunneling. Quantum energy can go through the tunnel, go through the wall, go through anything. It's called quantum tunneling. But the most important thing is quantum entanglement. We are all quantum energy. We have quanta inside and we can entangle. And when you entangle with people, you are one. And when you love others, you can never get a disease. Did you know that? If you want to be happy, love others. If you want to be disease-free, love others. Loving others is not LUST. No. That is different. This love has got a different spelling. COMPASSION. Universal compassion. Vinaya. You know, what impressed me most in this place? None of these buildings. This young man was touching the feet of an ordinary person like me, which means he is a personification of humility. And humility is the greatest virtue. If I have to give a PhD, I wouldn't give it for this bullshit of this. I'll give it for the most humble man. So our Guruji must have a PhD from all universities. अरे हम नीचे आके आपका पाव पड़ेगा. So humility is not only a greatest virtue, humility is a good education, and humility makes you feel happy because you want to love others. I didn't complete that what I said. Why are you here? Because each germ gave a DNA and made you. So it is your job to do something for others. Paropakarartham idam shariram. So friends, treating a disease is very simple, provided you understand the other person's consciousness. And this is a new science called biocentrism. Biocentrism is whole world depends on you. Now I look at you, you're all there, right? I close my eyes. Are you there? I don't know. So it is my perception that you are there. And the first quantum physicist, Max Planck, said, there can't be a perception without a perceiver. Did you understand that? So it's a perception. And what is my perception? When I look at the patient, my perception should be, how can I help this human being to come back to good? Today, do you know what is my perception? When I see a patient, do you have insurance? Do you have a government job? Are you working for the bank? Is your wife coming from a very rich family? Because I just want to know how thick his purse is. Depending on that, my treatment. Doctors were told, do not expect money for the treatment because your effect goes down. Sanatana Dharma. In the 18th century England, doctors, there are no hospitals. Doctors are supposed to go to the patient's house. And you thank the household for giving you an opportunity to help another man in distress. Supposing you do everything and then you're supposed to wash your hands. When you go to the wash basin, if the household is rich, there will be 3 gold coins called guineas, a pound and a shilling. You just pocket it and go home. Supposing you go to wash your hands, no guineas kept, that means the household is poor, they can't afford it. So you wash your hands, go back inside the house again and thank them for giving you an opportunity to help another human being in distress. I tell you, it is such a satisfying feeling to say, patient comes and tells you, doctor, you saved my life. I didn't do nothing, but he thinks I saved his life. And I tell you, it makes you so happy, your day is made. And that is called the art of medicine. You know, the science of medicine we talk is nothing. It's the art of medicine that cures the patient. That's the placebo effect. My former chief in Harvard, who is 92, did this study and published about 2 years ago, where what happened to 600 patients were sent for bypass surgery to Harvard from Massachusetts cardiologists. But he has a screening team which said, none of these people need bypass surgery. So he said, okay, we'll do a new test. What he did was, he had 2 theaters assigned, theater A and theater B, where we used to do laser tip myocardial revascularization, which is called TMR, total myocardial revascularization, where the patient doesn't know, he is just have an injection. So the protocol in A was anesthetize, treat, surgery, and then send. B was anesthetize, he'll be sleeping, wake him up, and tell him he had a wonderful operation. Right? Got it? Now, over 5 years, they had 300 patients on either side, about 300, 298 or something like that. After another 5 years, they see all these 300 we went to B theater were perfectly normal. And scanning showed their myocardium was 100% revascularized. In A, half of them had open bypass surgery, and then other half were in heaven with their maker prematurely. What did it show? The placebo effect. The patient believed that he was operated and he's fine because his doctor told him he's fine, and that's it. And our friend Bingel's study also showed he gave a drip of morphia for a pain and then told, this is not morphia, this is a new vitamin we have found for cancer, you will be all right. But your pain may not go, and the pain didn't go. Next time the same patient was taken over, it's called crossover study. Saline was run in and he was told, this is morphia, latest salt of morphia. Your pain will go, everybody's pain went. Nonplussed, they did fMRI concurrently, repeated the test. And when they found, when the patient believed in his doctor, faith, F-E-F-A-I-T-H, his forebrain was so active that it produced opioids, more powerful painkillers. When he believed it's not morphia, his brain slept. And you must read this study, I tell you, it's such a fascinating study. And if you study this and read this, you will know where we are going. And we don't require a very expensive system for medicine. Doctors in London in 1823 were so bad that one doctor, young doctor, his name is James Wakeley, 30 years, MD, and he was also an MP in the House of Commons. He said, doctors in London have become a bunch of corrupt, nepotistic, incompetent fools, and they become an abscess on the human body. I'm going to start a science journal, and I'll cut this abscess. And the name of the journal was The Lancet. Have you heard that? Lancet is a knife we use for surgery. So he named it Lancet, 1823. 2014 to be precise, the present editor, Richard Horton, wanted to know what impact has Lancet made in 185 years. So he commissioned a medical historian called Hilary Butler, and she wrote a paper which said, one sentence I'll tell you, what was in 1823 a bunch of corrupt impostors, fools as an abscess, today has transformed itself into a corporate monstrosity which is cutting everybody at the knees. Never make money